It really is great to live in America, a country where the president says we don't have a problem with inflation. The only problem with that, as Sam Kephart will agree, is that you exclude real barometers like, let's say, food, for instance.
Right. And I do most of the food marketing for my family, so I am aware there has been a significant increase in food prices over the last 2 to 3 years. I mean, one example, I like to get what was a 1-pound package of turkey sausage. I think it's Butterball. It doesn't make any difference what the brand is. And say 2.5, 3 years ago, that package at Walmart was like $2.12 for a 16-ounce package. It's now like $2.78 for a 14-ounce package. So prices have gone up, and the food manufacturers have, even though the size of the package is about the same, the net weight of the actual edible commodity has been significantly reduced by 10, 20, 30, 40%, cereals and other things. And that is still inflation. So even if I keep the price at $2.12 and I cut 2 ounces out of 16, I've just put a substantial inflation in that product, much less adding cost to it.
But you're saying they've actually done both. They've
Correct.
reduced the size and increased the price.
And they raised the price, right. And that's what I see as the trend. But nobody's talking about it.
I haven't seen statistics lately, but overall, what has food cost done in the last 4 or 5 years? Has it doubled?
I would say it's certainly up by 25 or 30%, based on my just walking through.
I think it's done much more than that. Frankly, I do a little bit of the shopping as well, and I've seen things that we buy that have easily doubled in price.
Well, and meat is very high now, and we used to raise beef, so I am very pro-rancher. I don't have any problems with the producer thing. I have huge problems with the manipulations that our producers have to go through and deal with the predations of, 2 or 3 major meat packing companies that establish the price?
Well,
Iowa beef processors and,
There you go, bashing Iowa again. I don't know. We're going to be getting letters from the state legislature of Iowa.
I will deal with them. You turn them over to me.
All right. Well.
Anyhow, but you know what I'm saying. Meat has gone up quite a bit, but I don't know that the producer's getting that much of the increase.
Well, the producer does get some of the increase, but interestingly enough, so are his costs of production.
Right,
his
inputs.
inputs are just off the charts. We're contemplating doing some farming, and the cost of getting the seed in the ground and the crop harvested are just incredible. Unbelievable how much it costs to get from start to finish in a crop scenario. And ag is #1 in South Dakota. So this economy of inflation on food prices and agricultural production inputs is significantly, it has a stranglehold on South Dakota, don't you think?
Well, of course it does. And energy, I mean, people talk about oil and gas, but the reality of it is oil and gas are huge inputs into ag costs, because it's not only direct for the running of the machinery and the food processing and all that stuff, but there are petrochemicals that typically are the feedstocks for much of our fertilizers and the chemicals inputs that farmers and ranchers use.
Well, I think we could certainly say with a fair confidence that food and just normal household cost of living, inflation is taking a significant bite out of every family's budget.
Well, it is, and I think it is a hidden inflation. I'm not quite sure. The federal government tracks these things, and they say very low inflation, 0.5% or less than 1% or whatever. That is not the case in food. Now, maybe they strip food and energy out of those numbers, and that's the trick that they do. But I would say over the last 3 or 4 years, food and the percentage that it takes out of the average working South Dakotan's family budget is very significant. I mean, I look at that.
And another factor in this economy of inflation is the economy of deflation. South Dakota has one of the largest per capita senior populations in the country. And seniors tend to be folks who are more inclined to live off of the interest on their life savings.
Right.
Well, guess what? Right now, their
There's
life
no-
savings, if you get a return, you're lucky. Right. So what we've done to senior citizens in South Dakota, we've not only increased the cost of their living, buying groceries, fuel, and all the rest, but we have whacked their income significantly.
Correct.
We're having some real economic nightmares coming closer and closer and closer. And what we've seen in the last year or two, Sam, is only a shadow of things
Yeah,
to
the
come.
chickens haven't quite roosted yet, but it's going to be unpleasant.
Yeah. Well, we're going to keep track of where those chickens roost because we may need some fried chicken before this is over. Thanks for watching.